Hey guys, it's Miss Hardy and I want to make another video. I'm going to read another story from our American Revolution unit, okay? This one is called Katie's Trunk by Ann Turner, illustrations by Ron Himmler. Okay, and it is a historical fiction. So that means that the characters are made up. They're not real people. That's why it's fictional. Remember, fictional means fake or made up. But it is based on a historical event, which we know is the American Revolution, okay? And there is something special about this story. This story was written by someone that had this family passed down from, I don't know how many greats, like a great-great-great-great-grandparent. So she actually did have a great-great-grandmother named Katie, and this story was told throughout her family. So she says it happened to her great-great-great-grandmother named Katie, but you know, that Katie's no longer alive to say what really happened, so she might have had to add a few details and things. So that's why it's technically historical fiction. But it's pretty cool that it's based on a real story, okay? Alright, so I'm going to start. And she even dedicates it at the beginning. It says, "For my cousin Katie, descendant of the original Katie." When I'd been bad all day long, hiding Hattie's doll under the sofa and never telling where it went, Mama sighed and said, "I should sit you down to sew long seams all day and get the goodness straight inside. Katie, what is wrong with you?" Alright, so we can already pick out the narrator. The person telling the story is Katie herself, okay? And it says she's been being bad all day, hiding Hattie's doll under the couch, okay? So we can assume that Hattie must be this little girl, this little sister, and that must be Katie because the mom is fussing at Katie, okay, and Hattie looks upset. So Katie's been hiding her little sister's doll to be mean. Mama is fussing, and what is the punishment? Mama says she wants to make Katie sew all day long to get the goodness straight inside of her, okay? Remember back then, they had to sew their own clothes and blankets and things, so that was a skill that girls knew how to do, was to sew the needle and thread. So that's her punishment, is to sit down and sew to get the goodness straight inside her, okay? It's kind of like if your mom or someone says today to, you need to get your mind right, you know? Okay. I couldn't tell it with a name, though I felt it inside, the way a horse knows a storm is near. I could feel the itchiness in the air, the wind bringing cold, the clouds tumbling over the trees, bringing rain, a sour rain. Alright, so Katie's saying she feels like something bad's coming, the way that an animal can predict a bad storm or bad weather coming, okay? "Must be," Mama sighed and sat down to see. "Must be all this trouble and fighting. Why, it makes me skittish as a newborn calf. All this marching and talking, these letters your papa speaks of, that tea they dumped in the harbor." All right, so Katie says she feels like something bad's going to happen soon. And Mama's saying that she feels skittish, like scared about all the marching and talking going on, about the tea that was dumped in the harbor. So we know that that's the Boston Tea Party, right? So they're talking about the events leading up to the beginning of the American Revolution. And there's some colonists marching and talking. Maybe they're meeting in town to make plans, okay? Mama's hand shook like she's scared talking about it, okay? "Tea in the harbor, wasting God's good food," Brother Walter said. "That's not the least of it. It will get worse." She peered at him. "How could it be worse, Walter?" Then she shut her lips on the words. Already We had lost friends, neighbors, families we had played with on the green, and helped with building their new barns. All right, so we now know Katie has a brother too. His name's Walter. And Walter is telling Mama, it's going to get way worse than just the Boston Tea Party. And Mama is, just so worried. How could things get worse? Sorry, my dog is outside playing. That's Ace. Probably sees a cat. Ace. Thank you, Ace. Okay. But Mama said Katie said they'd already lost neighbors and friends. So we'll see what she means by that. But there's the family sitting around talking about it. Celia Warren no longer spoke to me. Her brother Ralph no longer spoke to Walter. Sometimes I heard that word hissed, Tory, like a snake about to bite. The rebels were arming, Brother told me, marching and drilling beyond the meadows. All right, so we just learned that Celia Warren, Katie's old friend, won't talk to her at school. Celia's brother won't talk to Walter anymore, so kids aren't being their friends anymore, and they're calling Katie and Walter the name Tory, like it's a bad thing, like Tory, okay? And if you remember when we learned about the Patriots and the Loyalists, remember the Loyalists are the people that are siding with the British, so they're on the British side. They want to remain loyal to King George. Another name for the Loyalists are Tories, T-O-R-Y, or T-O-R-I-E-S for plural. And the kids at school are calling Walter and Katie a Tory, or Tories. So we can use that to infer that Katie's family must be loyalist, okay? They're not patriots, they're loyalists. I'll never forget the day they came. The mill pond, and Walter, Hattie, and I watched the dragonflies peel their skins off on the long grass and fly away. Something like smoke rose over the road, and out of it Papa came running. Get your mother! Hide in the woods! The rebels are coming! All right, so Hattie, Walter, Katie were outside enjoying the beautiful weather like I am. And all of a sudden, Papa came running out of the woods saying, get your mother, hide in the woods, the rebels are coming. We ran to the house, Mama's face like a white handkerchief. She shoved a piece of pork pie in our hands and ran us out to the thick woods where we could hide. Crouched in the underbrush, I felt like an animal in a trap, and suddenly I was so mad I could not still myself. All right, so Mama gave them some food, and they've run to hide in the woods. So the rebels are coming. The Patriots are coming. I raced for the house. Mama's fierce whisper trying to call me back. I would not let John Warren and Reuben Otis hurt our house and our things. It was not right. It was not just. It was not fair. Uh-oh. So Katie just got mad, and she jumped up and she's running to her house, even though her mama's telling her, don't go, come back, it's not safe. Inside our parlor, I touched each thing I loved. Mama's pineapple teapot, the silver tray shining like a moon, the pictures of all our kin ranged across the wall. Home. Remember, kin means family, so she's looking at all the stuff that is in their home, the pictures of their family, all the pretty things in the kitchen that Mama loves. And she doesn't want anyone to hurt their stuff. Then I heard voices by the door. Reuben Otis, John Warren, Harold Smith, and others, not our neighbors. "This'll be fine pickings." They paused on the front step and ripped the knocker off the door. So she hears a bunch of young guys breaking into their house. They're patriots, okay? "I ran into Mama and Papa's room, looking for a place to hide. If they could steal, they could hurt as well." She doesn't know if they just want to steal from them or maybe they could hurt her. She's trying to hide. There was Mama's wedding trunk, big and black and domed. I pulled up the trunk lid and hid under the dresses. In the shut-down darkness, everything was muffled and far away. The door slamming, their footsteps next door in the parlor. So she's hiding in Mama's trunk under some dresses and she hears them slamming doors and walking around. "English goods!" Someone spat, and something hit the floor and broke. My breath stuck in my throat. Someone cursed. I heard Reuben say, "Mr. Gray has money here. Look hard for it." John Warren spoke of arms they would buy. So they're going to steal her family's money, Katie's dad's money, to buy weapons. The air closed around my mouth like a black cloth. "Thank you, Ace." I hand and prayed, though I was never much good at that. I thought my words might go up to God, like bubbles in a pond, to the silver top, where they would burst. "Please, God, don't let them find me. Don't let them hurt us. Let me breathe." The footsteps came closer. Someone leaned against the trunk. My breath got caught somewhere midst my stomach and chest, and I could not get it back. There wasn't enough air. John Warren said, "Fine dresses and silver here." He pulled up the lid, and the sweet air rushed in so she can breathe. She still doesn't want to be found out, right? She's hiding. I sucked in a breath as a dress was snatched out. The rustlings drowned their words. Another dress went, and a hand touched me. I wanted to bite it, to make it jump and shout, but I stilled myself. Maybe he didn't know. Suddenly he shouted, "Out! The Tories are coming! Back to the road! Hurry!" He did not close the lid, and the footsteps sounded out the door. So someone touched her and felt her in there, okay? And she wanted to bite their hand, but she didn't. And then a voice told them all to get out, and they left. Sudden quiet. My heart beat loud as the horses galloping down the road. Quiet as quiet. I crept to the window and looked out. No one. Puffs of smoke far down on the green. A horse thudding past, riderless, someone's hat blowing by in the gusty wind. Would I ever play with Celia again? Would I always wear this name Tory, as if it were written on my chest? So she's making sure the coast is clear. I sat down, hugged my knees, and began to cry. Walter ran inside and hugged me so tight my nose stuck to his shirt. Mama, Papa, and Hattie came next, white as the moon and as silent. Only Mama scolded. "Katie, leaving us that way!" Her voice broke, and she sat beside me and stroked my hair. Papa looked out the window. "It's not bad, dear ones. Just a skirmish. No one's hurt that I can see." So she looked out the window, sat down and started to cry, and her family came running in to hug her. Walter's mouth snapped open and then shut tight. I wiped my eyes on his sleeve. A sudden thread like a song ran through my head. When Mama asked me to sew straight seams to get the goodness straight, I knew I couldn't do it. But John Warren had. When I hid in that black, stuffy trunk, when my breath got lost in Mama's dresses, he left the trunk lid up to let me breathe and called the others away. So she's realizing that John Warren, Celia Warren's big brother, that won't talk to her, and John won't talk to her brother Walter at school, he was in there, and it was his hand that touched her in the trunk, and she's realizing that he felt her, and he knew she was in there, but he purposely saved her, and kept it a secret that she was in there, and didn't tell his friends, and instead told them, someone's coming, I hear someone, let's go, we gotta get out. And he left the trunk open so that Katie could breathe. Wow. So even though he was a patriot and Katie's family is a loyalist, he chose to protect her, right? He'd left one seam of goodness there, and we were all tied to it. Papa, Mama, Walter, Hattie, and me. Alright, so that's the end of the story. And I guess the theme or the lesson of the story would be that, let's think about it. John Warren is a loyalist, and he's with a group of guys robbing one of his friends' parents' houses, right? But he finds out Katie's in there hiding, and he purposely protects her and leads the others away so that she'll be safe. And that was really heroic of him, right? Because technically he's her enemy, right? The Patriots and the Loyalists are on opposite sides. They're enemies. But it was really hard back then because neighbors could be on opposite sides, friends could be on opposite sides, family members could be on opposite sides. So John Warren, even though Katie was a loyalist, he did the right thing and he protected her and cared about her. So maybe the theme could be to treat others the way you want to be treated, or just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you have to, doesn't mean you can't help them or respect them. Even though they were on opposite sides, he still helped her, right? Even though they didn't agree and their families disagreed, he still did the right thing. Alright, so I'm going to leave a little quiz for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed Katie's trunk. I love y'all so much. See y'all soon on my next video.